I'd like to talk to you about guerrilla warfare.
I'm Bill Rhumm, and this is real history. History is by the people, for the people, it is the people. The people are those who make the history. It's people like you and I, people who work every day. Maybe you don't love your job, but you're a part of history, and I'm going to put it all together for you, how little pieces come together as one piece of history. Guerrilla warfare. The United States has been involved in guerrilla warfare since its inception, since the Revolutionary War, when we were the guerrillas attacking a far superior force, and yes, we kicked ass. Now, this has gone on up until Vietnam, where we were the superior force, but the guerrillas, the Viet Cong, were kicking our ass. And the reason they were is because we weren't fighting the same battle that they were. We were using things like law, anti-tank weapons. There weren't any tanks in Vietnam to use these for. We would shoot these babies off, and these babies are bad. Pull the pin, open it up, and this will shoot a rocket like nobody's business. Not only that, but it's radioactive. The tip of it is radioactive, so you can see it at night. This will take out a tank, but it won't take out Viet Cong hiding in the dirt and in the ground. The problem with these was, after we fired them, we threw them to the ground, and they were used against us by the Viet Cong. They would put explosives in this, tripwires, and our own weapons would kill our own guys. What I tell you about Vietnam doesn't come from me, because I was a kid. I was 2 years old in the Vietnam era. It comes from the vets. The vets, I love to talk to people. I love to hear the stories firsthand, because that's where the history is. That's where the truth is. The truth isn't always in the books you read. It's in the people who lived it. And sometimes they will stretch the history, but if you listen hard, the truth will always speak for itself. One day I was talking to this guy, great Vietnam vet. I mean, he was such a Brooklyn character. He said to me, he was telling me about booby traps and losing friends, and he was a Marine, and he was a real great guy, and he was a great short order cook. And we were talking one day, and he goes to me, he goes, hey, he goes, you know, one day I was watching the Flintstones when I came back, because I couldn't get a job. Because he couldn't get a job. He's watching the Flintstones, okay? And he said to me, you know, I was looking at the Water Buffalo Lodge and the Grand Poobah, and I said, you know what? I can make a helmet like that. I can be the Grand Poobah. And he said he goes out into his garage, and he takes his Vietnam helmet, and he takes some horns he's got, and he makes this baby right here. This is just awesome, okay? This is history from a vet. And it doesn't get better than this, man. This is rocking, okay? And I asked him, I said to him, I says, would you part with it? And he said, for you, I part with it. This is one of my most prized possessions. It has no real historical value. It's just a cool helmet from a guy who gave everything for his country. And we repaid him by giving him no job and letting him watch the Flintstones. I love to talk to vets. When I was younger and I was 15 years old, I would meet American vets, lots of them. Most of them are gone now and going fast, probably to the tune of 1,500 a week die. There's not many left. I would meet German vets. I would meet Polish vets, all from World War II. One of my most fond memories is I had a neighbor who used to tell me his father brought him down to Hoboken, the docks, to watch the troops come back from World War I. I mean, that's great stuff. That's real history. Unfortunately, sometimes I go out there, I hunt these pieces down, and I find them. And this right here is a model 1862 cutlass, naval cutlass, and it's just a beauty. Unfortunately, you have to listen to the piece if you want to hear its history. This piece is a kick-ass piece. This is used to smash heads, and this would have been on federal ships, blockading southern ports. It's a really, really nice piece. And the reason I tell you about swords is because I love swords. They're just cool, and there's so much history. And I brought another sword which I want to show you real quick. And this is a Shingontu. Now this right here is a Japanese sword. And the reason I even talk about Japanese swords here is for two. One reason is that Japanese swords, okay, there's more of them here than there are in Japan. That's because all our vets took them home, and they're all over. And they are some of the most beautifully made swords. Japanese swords have a spirit, so the Japanese say, and they're generally handmade and signed by the swordsmith. And they can range from a few $100s to thousands of dollars, depending on who made it. So you know what? It's the least our vets could have done, is brought back a piece that they could share with their families and turn down a legacy for. I often say that history is a stream with tributaries that feed into it, and each one provides more and more information and sets up a historical scene. And this rock right here with the 2 holes, this Indian doll I found in a Salvation Army that was signed Santa Fe, New Mexico, this Lakota breastplate, and this picture all led me to find a person who is 97 years old, who was born without a citizenship in this country, yet his people lived here for hundreds and hundreds of years, okay? Indians did not get their citizenship in this country until 1924. Unfortunately, my budget doesn't allow me to tell you that story, but maybe it will in the future, because it's a story that needs to be told. This is Bill Rhumm for Real History.
This has been a Crazy Gorilla production with Haley Sky.